Hi, I'm Mia, and welcome back to another Grill a Leader. Today I'm with the beautiful Kaz, and we are grilling Emily T.
Hello.
Kaz, do you have any questions to start?
I have a whole selection of questions here for Ebs.
Very scared, yes. Uh-huh.
But that's okay. It's okay to be scared.
Mm.
I'm going to start
Oh, okay.
with something to get you in the flow of it. So we'll
Okay.
start with A or B.
A or B, okay.
Okay. So we're going to do really nice, easy ones to start off with. Okay. Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Chocolate or crisps?
Crisps.
Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Beach or snow?
Beach.
Flowers or trees?
Ooh. Trees.
Trees. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you, I want to know your favourite ones of these things. Okay.
Okay.
Favourite song?
That's really hard. I don't know a favourite song. I like, well, I'll give you a selection because I don't know. There's an artist called John Mark Pantana, and I like all his songs. He's got one album I really like. Yeah.
I was going to ask you favourite musician. So.
Yeah, no, there you go.
Favourite flower?
Favourite flower?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I like a rose. We had a rose sorry, these are meant to be quick, aren't they? We had a rose, sorry, I'll just ramble, outside our house that I think I got at my dedication, and it was there for like 8 years. So I like a rose.
Nice. Favourite movie?
I like all the Harry Potters, and so again, I can't pick one. I like The Decoy Bride. Do you know that one? Yeah. Got David Tennant in it. Cheesy rom-com. I like that one.
Favourite TV show?
I don't know. I like my favorite ones are like ones that I watched when I was a bit younger because they're quite comforting. So like Doctor Who, like Sherlock, Outnumbered, like loads of those ones. I like it.
Cool. This is one I know the answer to, but I feel like we should share it with everybody. Favourite food, Emily?
Noodles. Like, everyone should know that.
No, Emily is obsessed with noodles.
Yeah.
So Grill a Leader, important fact.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to move on to some slightly more serious questions to get you warmed up. To what
you mean those weren't serious?
No, those were not questions. Okay, you are currently at uni studying to be a primary school teacher. Why do you want to be a primary school teacher?
Ooh. I like children. I get, I think, well, actually, when I was little, I used to line my teddies up and make registers and teach them things. I was called bossy many a time, so I think it all kind of had led me here. My mum's a primary teacher, so like genuinely being in her class and seeing that, well, I wasn't her student, but if I was ever in to help her or in service days, whatever, definitely I just like it. Just like it. Yeah.
Great. How are you finding being in lockdown?
I don't know. It's weird. It's like a bizarre holiday or like a Saturday that's just gone on forever. I feel like the novelty's worn off.
Okay.
At the start I was a bit like, oh, there's things happening, and I'm like, oh, I just want to go outside. But it's okay. Mm-hmm.
Cool. And you are involved in worship teams at church.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it about singing worship that you really like?
The one I can do. I don't know. I think again, this part something to say later, but like both my parents were in the worship team growing up, so I was around a lot and saw them doing that. My mum sung in the worship team, so I don't know. I think definitely that like sort of inspired me to think, oh, I could do that. But I don't know. I'm good at it. One of my strengths. I'm not good at playing guitar or the triangle or anything like that. But yeah, I think it's just something I enjoy.
Yeah, cool. And so thinking then, like obviously we're in this period of lockdown, everything's very up in the air. You are a very creative person. We've mentioned briefly there kind of sung worship, but I know that you're very creative artistically, all that kind of stuff. You can also act as well, which has been tried and tested.
A little bit. It's questionable.
But we got this great question in, which I did give you a wee bit of a heads up on because I thought it was such a good question that we should give you a little bit of a heads up on to think about this one. But why is creativity so important in a time of crisis, and how does it help you?
Okay. I was thinking about this. It's quite a hard one to answer. I think what I came back to was that being creative in whatever way that is, doesn't have to be art, is about expressing yourself, and expressing what you're feeling or what you're thinking. And it doesn't have to be very like artsy paintings, which is what I like to do, but I think that's important at all times, having a bit of an outlet to sort of, it's almost like another language to kind of say what you're feeling or show what you're feeling. But I think particularly in a crisis, there's lots of, I would say, I am not a scientist, but like mental health benefits to just being a bit creative and doing something, completing a task, or feeling like you've got out something that you've been feeling. I definitely think that's important. I've found definitely like in lockdown I've done some like not so happy paintings and things like that, but definitely that's helped me, and I think that's important. And actually also, like, as a Christian, I find like visual journaling quite helpful, like sort of my journal with God, and I've started that recently, but there's a bit more of like how can I actually sort of link these things, which I've quite enjoyed in that.
Great stuff. I think that's a great place to hand over to Mia for her to take us through our next little question.
Okay, so Emily, first question. What is your earliest memory of church, and does that impact on your faith now?
Okay. I was trying to think back. I don't really know what my earliest memory of church is. Been there since I was born at QP, so I must have many memories. I remember being in a nativity play at 3 years old, being a bit annoyed they weren't using a real baby. Yeah, but I definitely like, I've got lots of memories. So like watching my parents in the worship team, that's one quite big thing. Remember that a lot, always being dragged there early, having to kind of sit and be like, oh. But yeah, I think also I remember a bit of beginners, particularly building blocks was kind of the first time where I really remember like kind of understanding what was going on. Got clearer memories of that. And you know, singing about the money that we were giving to the children, that sort of thing. Did that every Sunday. And then Kingdom Kids was definitely something. That's where I remember doing soaking for the first time.
Yeah.
That was, yeah, you remember too.
That.
Yeah, But that was like quite a big thing, because actually, as I've got older, I realised that not everyone gets that opportunity that young. And actually that was really important. And I think perhaps there's a bit of a misconception that, you know, once you become a Christian, your life gets easier. And actually I became a Christian really young, and my life has not always been easy. And sometimes I really come back to the things that I heard or wrote down or learned in Kingdom Kids, that sort of childlike thing where I didn't really have any other stuff going on. But yeah, still come back to those things. Definitely think that's been quite important for me. And kind of learning a bit of what God's voice sounds like. Yeah, that was definitely one of those things.
Great. I forgot to mention the specific topic is growing up in
church. Important. You hadn't get that from the yeah, there we go.
Okay, question 2. Do you remember a specific time where you thought to yourself you're a proper Christian instead of just tagging along with your parents to go to church?
Again, it's quite hard, but I think that's probably one of the main things about this topic, is that actually like you don't need to have an amazing transformation like testimony that you see all the time. You know, there's lots of amazing stories of people that had really difficult lives and then they gave their life to Jesus and then everything changed. And actually it has changed my life, absolutely, but it wasn't necessarily there's not really one moment where my life suddenly took a different turn. I became a Christian at 3, so
Oh.
I didn't necessarily have much of a life before it. It was in an Asda car park, so that's exciting.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, I definitely kind of growing up, as I said, in Kingdom Kids, I always knew that I had a relationship with God. I knew that I was a Christian. I didn't necessarily think that much about it. It was kind of just something that was there, and I went to church, and the experiences of soaking and listening to God's voice definitely helped me to kind of firm up some of that. Oh, this is real. Like, I do believe this. I have heard something. I've got it written down in my notebook covered in stickers. I found that the other day. It was quite funny.
Oh.
Yeah, from when I was 8. Very exciting. But yeah, definitely those experiences really helped form me into who I am now and what I believe now. But I think particularly as well when I got to sort of like primary 7 first year, I remember going on first weekend away with Ali, which was interesting. I enjoyed it a lot, but definitely even at that, I remember feeling actually like I was there on my own, and my parents hadn't brought me. I was making sort of a choice for myself, and that was quite important. And it wasn't like a big moment where I was crying on the floor and everything changed, but actually like little things like that, and going to PowerPoint and meeting different people, and all those things really added up and became sort of a bigger thing where I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing this for myself. This is what I think too. Yeah.
Wow, I love that. Cool. Right, okay, so the
Yeah,
third
good
question.
answer.
The third question is, many people in church come across the huge obstacle of doubt. So how was your experience with that and how did you overcome it?
This is a hard one.
I
It's
know.
really hard. Kaz is smiling. She hasn't seen these questions. Yeah, I don't know. I think doubt's a really interesting thing. I think it's a normal thing, actually. Like, I think perhaps sometimes we kind of feel a bit ashamed if we doubt about things because we think, oh, other people might not be there better than I am. And actually, I think it is quite normal. Um, I think there's been lots of times where I've doubted different things or had questions about things. Um, I think the main thing that helped me was actually like understanding firstly that God is real and remembering that, but also if he's real, he's big enough to deal with my doubts. Like he doesn't change when I doubt or question things. Like I think he's patient and consistent and bigger than all of that stuff. And I think that's kind of what I've always come back to is a little bit like a child and might kind of have a bit of a panic, but actually like he's not changed. He's still there. And I think I've always come back to that. And sometimes it takes longer than others to kind of come to that realization, but definitely I've always come back to that. And I think as well, the thing is like having people to talk to about that, like people you trust, like a good mentor. Like yeah, people you trust and friends and parents or whoever, that you can kind of work things through with and be like, what do you think about this? Or I'm thinking about this. Can you help me to kind of understand this a bit more? That's definitely helpful.
Great. Good answer again. Right, okay, fourth question. How did you find being a Christian among so many non-believers in school and how did you overcome that?
I didn't really enjoy school that much, which is bizarre for someone that wants to be a teacher. But there were definitely people that weren't so keen on the idea, and that's okay, that's fine. Some were more vocal than others. But I think it's tricky. I think kind of what I was thinking about is such a buzzword, authentic, and trying to be I was always trying to be authentic about what I believed and not push it down people's throats or be really like argumentative or anything like that. Sometimes, you know, you do answer, and sometimes you just kind of let it go when people are having a go at you. But I think I always just try to be honest. People ask me questions and be open to that, particularly with like my school friends. They were quite curious about it, and I think that's a really good thing. It kind of helped me even to think about what I believe myself, and also kind of being authentic in my actions, like not just saying things, but also actually showing that I'm living it out. And I didn't have to shout about that, but people could probably tell that my life looked a little bit different to what their life looked like. And, you know, why is that? I don't know. But that was definitely like, that kind of stood out to me, that I tried, it didn't always work, but I tried to be honest about that, and yeah, be open to what people thought about that or questions people had.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay, next question. Do you have any advice on being a Christian while being pressured into the normal teenage stereotypes?
Yes, I do. I have 3 points. Okay, I was thinking about this one because I think it's quite important, and definitely like I struggled with that because I was quite sure that I did want my life to look a bit different to my friends, but it's really hard. Like, people are not always that welcoming of that idea.
Mhm.
I think, yeah, first thing is don't be afraid to say no to things, just in general,
Mhm.
because I've had these conversations before, but like boundaries with people is important.
Mhm.
Yeah, being able to just stick to your no and being like, actually, I don't want to do that, or I do want to do that, or I'm comfortable with this, but I'm not comfortable with that. About anything, but particularly those sort of stereotypical things and like lifestyle type stuff when you're a teenager. It is important to kind of have a think about what you actually are comfortable with, and then be like, right, there's the line. There's where I'm not going to cross.
Mhm.
And actually, as well, like, yeah, just being able to kind of say that. And if you've got good people around you, they might be curious about that, like they might ask, but ultimately they'll accept that and they'll be okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's important. But also, other 2 things. Sorry, I was about to say I'm rambling, but that's the point of this. Um, I think as well, like that whole thing of knowing your identity is quite important. And I think growing up in church, you hear it a lot, that you're loved, that you're a child of God. You hear all those things, but it's that, I'm just getting all the buzzwords in, that the head to heart knowledge thing. Actually trying to properly sort of realize that you are loved and you are chosen by God and you are a child of God, and your identity doesn't come from what you do or don't do, or who you hang out with, or what your reputation is in school, or any of those things. And I get that a lot by my cheesy quotes and Bible verses that are all around my room. But actually, like, they're good reminders that, you know, I am those things, and I don't need to kind of bow to the pressure that other people might put on me. And I would say, if you don't have cheesy quotes around your room, give it a go. It's great. I'll sell you some. No. But yeah, and the other thing was like good people. Have good people around you. Like, find people you trust, Christian friends, mentors, parents, whoever. But definitely, like, don't be ashamed. Like, we all mess up. We all kind of do the wrong thing or think, oh, that wasn't the best decision, or whatever it is. Having people that you can go to and be like, oh, I didn't make the best choice. Like, can you help me? Can you pray for me? Can we talk about this? Like, whatever it is, I think that's really important. Definitely.
Completely. That was an amazing answer. I will use that, Emily. I definitely will.
Good.
Okay, so how does your faith affect the relationships you have with, for instance, friends, family, your boyfriend?
Okay, this is also like, you hit me with some quite good questions. Yeah, affects them all quite differently, I think. With my parents, particularly, sometimes it's very annoying because I want to scream and shout and be all angry teenager, and actually, I think part of what I mean, they'll say I am that sometimes, but try not to be. But I think some of my faith really given me a respect for my parents. And my mum's always said that, you know, she knows that me and Mark don't belong to them, we belong to God, and she's just looking after us, her and my dad. And I think that's quite important, actually, kind of understanding that they're also children of God and trying to see them through God's eyes and all those things, which is all very hard when you're a teenager, and you know, relationship with parents is not always that easy, but I've found that a helpful thing to kind of get through these years, and yeah, that's definitely been useful. Yeah, friends, I think probably lots of people in youth would agree, but having Christian friends is really, it's odd, because actually it's just a common ground like you would have with anyone else. Like, you know, maybe you like tennis and somebody else likes tennis. I don't but you know, like it's kind of just a common interest, but actually it bonds you on a much deeper level. And I've definitely found that like there's a level of like vulnerability with other Christians that I don't necessarily find many other places. And that's great. I think that's the whole point of like that as family we go and stuff, and youth, you know, like trying to actually understand that we are all really different, but we've got this common thing, and that's quite important. What else did you say? Oh, so like non-Christian friends as well. I don't know, it's different dynamic. It's a different common interest or common ground. I think it's interesting. I think every relationship's different as well. So how my faith affects one friendship is different to how it affects another one. Yeah, and then with my boyfriend, she did mention that. So I think it's the same thing, sort of, as with my parents, a little different. But that thing of seeing them through God's eyes, I think, is also really important in other relationships. You know, trying to kind of treat them as God would treat them, which is really, it is hard. Like, we're not going to be perfect at that, but I think that's definitely important. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. And for your last question, Emily, do you feel you have changed as a person in a positive way while growing up in church?
Yes, is the answer. But yeah, I think the experience of having lots and lots of different people of different ages and experiences and all those things has really helped me. And I've got lots of aunties and uncles that aren't my actual aunties and uncles that you know, are always there to support me, and I think that's been a really important thing, and different people at different times in my lives. But I think it definitely has stood out to me that not everyone has that, you know. And we talk about family, but it really is, and it's not just people my age that have gone through the same things. It's people who've gone through all different things, and that's definitely really helped me, I think. Yeah, and also kind of lots of experiences I've had through church, like school of leadership in India, and you know, the worship team and all these things, really helped me to know what my strengths are better and my weaknesses, actually. But yeah, I do feel like I've changed quite a lot, and I've been able to grow because of those things. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much. That is all of my questions complete. Back to you, Kaz.
Thank you, Mia. Great job. I'm just going to pick up on a couple of things, Emily.
Okay.
You said,
Yes.
One, you mentioned a couple of times soaking. Now,
Yes.
I know what you mean by that, but I'm just thinking, people watching this who are like, what are you talking about?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I don't know an official definition, but it was always described to us as sort of just being in God's presence and just listening to God. I suppose it's the idea of, you know, you're soaking like water. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's probably how they would have described it then. But yeah, they did that a lot in Kingdom Kids. There was a lot of that. People were around. They probably remember that.
Yeah.
Cool. And I want it because actually somebody had asked this question and I'd skipped
Mhm.
over it, but you alluded to it a little bit, so press into
Okay.
it a little bit more. You mentioned mentoring.
Yes.
Now, I know because we've been in that kind of relationship for a number of years now, but actually,
Yes.
like, can you explain a little bit about what mentoring is, first of all, for people?
Okay. Um, I think it's different for different people, different situations, what your mentor is for. But ultimately, it's kind of having someone who's a little bit ahead of you in their journey and whatever it is that you're being mentored in, and kind of helping you to maybe like work through some of the things that are going on in your life, or some questions you have, or kind of just someone that you know you can go to with things. They're not going to judge you. They're just going to kind of work through it with you and help you process that. Kaz has been my mentor, so that's been good. I think some people do it differently. Some people like read books together, or like, I don't know, do different stuff. I know you can have like mentors in other like spheres of life, but yeah, definitely I've found it really helpful. So people should do that. Do all that.
Glad you heard that.
Advertisement.
And I guess, like, because I know our mentoring relationships changed quite a lot over the years.
Mhm.
We've been doing this for what, 4.5, 5 years?
Something like that. Yeah.
And so obviously when we started out, you were quite young, and so it looked
Mhm.
one way, it looks very different to maybe our last couple of mentoring sessions
Yeah.
where you're at uni and you're in a different place.
Mhm.
Do you want to just really practically tell people a little bit of what some of that's looked like?
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't warned for this, so
No, you weren't. I think we can push into this.
yeah. What's that looks like for me? Well, at the start it was much more we would kind of just meet up and probably sit in my bedroom, actually. That was most of the time, or in your house. And just kind of talk through. It would normally be things like school. I really was often talking about it. I really struggled with exam pressure, and worrying about that. And definitely that was something that came up a lot. And we would just sit and talk about it for like an hour, and kind of talk about where I was at with God, and where I was at with my family, and lots of different things like that. And Cass would very helpfully offer lots of advice, and kind of, have you thought about this? Have you tried this? What about this? Would this work? And obviously, like, it didn't do every single thing she mentioned, but actually, like, it was really helpful to kind of have another perspective on things. And then now, I mean, at the moment, it's like occasional Zoom calls, or it's like, oh, how's lockdown? Oh, bad. But yeah, we would go for Wagamamas. That was our recent one. And yeah, that was
Other noodle
more.
bars are available. I would just
Yeah.
say that. Like,
Yeah, I recommend them all. Yeah, and yeah, it was just a bit more of a conversation as I've got a bit older. Actually, it's a little bit more of a kind of, yeah, it's a little bit less formal now, I suppose. But yeah, it's the same sort of thing though, just kind of, how am I doing with uni, how am I doing with God and friends and all those different things, and kind of seeing like, are there points where Kaz could see that actually, like, this would be helpful here, or why don't you pray about this, or have you thought about this? That's all been really helpful for me, and I definitely think like it's kind of a unique relationship. It's sort of different to other things. It's like a hybrid thing, like friendship and like teacher, and you're just amazing.
that was
Yeah.
not planned for this conversation at all.
Sure you weren't. But yeah, no, I mean, other mentors are available, and I'm sure they're all amazing. But yeah, just that kind of having different input, different sides of a story, different perspectives, all those things definitely help.
Cool. So am I hearing you say, and you can say no, but am I
Okay.
hearing you say that people should get themselves a mentor?
Yeah, I think so. I think it depends kind of what's going on in your life. I think it kind of, there's lots of different kind of things you maybe want to chat about, or like, yeah, you kind of would like a bit of input in. But I particularly think like during school I found it really helpful, because I did struggle a lot with exam pressure and anxieties around that, and you know, having a mentor didn't fix that, but it definitely helped me to kind of let some of that out to someone that wasn't like, you know, in it with me, or a parent or anything like that. It was kind of a separate thing where I knew I could sort of talk about something, and then Kaz would maybe pray for me. And yeah, I definitely think that's helpful. So I would suggest to people that are in school and maybe struggling a bit with that actually it's a really useful thing to have.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Emily. Thank you for being open and honest and sharing your stuff. And Mia, thank you for being our guest presenter this week.
That is
Great to
okay.
have you with us. Thank you to everybody for joining us. We will be back next week on our YouTube channel here with our next Grilla leader. If you've missed any of our sessions, you can find them on our YouTube channel. So subscribe and keep looking out for what we're up to.